That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth, the 7th Jurassic Park World film, and also the 5th, directed by Gareth Edwards. Universal is releasing it theatrically July 2nd, 2025.
So this director, is this their first Jurassic World movie?
Yes, but you were there alongside me at the Toronto screening in 2010 of his debut Monsters, which we were both a fan of.
Oh,
okay. He also went on to do Godzilla in 2014, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and then we reviewed his last feature, The Creator.
Okay. What is Jurassic World Rebirth about? 5 years post-Jurassic World Dominion, an expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough.
Give us the blood.
What is your pull quote?
If going by the measuring stick of originality, the Jurassic Park franchise entered extinction phase a long time ago, and the latest empty spectacle, Jurassic World Rebirth, is merely recycling past eras, failing to generate much of interest with its Dr. Moreau-styled hybrid dinosaurs or its tiresome human composites.
Mine. Uninspired, hokey, and overly long, Jurassic World Rebirth may be better than the previous 2 installments, but it still plays like the final breaths of a franchise that needs to be put to rest.
In the words of Susan Powter, it was hokey.
Yeah, I mean, this concept has been beaten to death. And I think considering that the first film, the 1993 film, is so iconic, and I mean, I remember so much of that first film.
Oh, of course. I mean, we've seen it many times since then.
And then now the 7th installment, like, why do they keep going back to this damn island? Like, what are they trying to do? And then the story for this one to me is so ridiculous.
It's so raggedy around the edges upon examination. I think you might as well call this Jurassic World repeat.
Well, that, or, I mean, my very first note is, what is the rebirth? What is being rebirthed?
Reboot.
In fact, a plot point is that the DNA samples that need to be extracted from these 3 massive prehistoric creatures, the plot point is that they have to be alive. So
I don't know why when we were able to clone dinosaurs from a mosquito and amber.
Right. And then the DNA that will be extracted is going to be used for some medication that would treat, like, congestive heart disease. So I don't understand what the rebirth is about. But basically the story is that it's 32 years after the first movie, and dinosaurs have gone out of fashion. People are bored with them. No one's going to see the attractions, coupled with the fact that I guess all of a sudden climate change and disease are killing off the dinosaurs.
The way you're describing it made me think of that scene in Killing of Sister George. You're a fat, boring dinosaur, and people are sick to death of you.
Basically, so no one's checking for these dinosaurs. So really, they're just isolated to these remote islands that no one's allowed to go to. But we see that there's this guy working for a pharmaceutical company, Rupert Friend.
And his name is Martin Krebs.
And he goes so what he's trying to do is develop some medication that will make his company trillions of dollars. So first he needs someone to help him extract this DNA. So he goes to Scarlett Johansson.
Zora Bennett.
Who we understand, she says what she does for work, but basically she's just like a person who steals shit. And we're told that she doesn't mind breaking the law.
Spec ops.
That she doesn't really like have boundaries or any like ethics.
She's asked what she does, and she says it's situational security and reaction.
That's it. So she at first is like, I don't know, that's not my thing. But then Rupert Friend says, my company has really deep pockets. And she goes, okay. So as far as we know about her character, all she cares about is money, period.
She's a fallen woman.
Rupert Friend takes Scarlett Johansson to see Jonathan Bailey.
Yes, Dr. Henry Loomis, which reminds me of Psycho.
Loomis? That's not Halloween?
Oh, is that? Yeah, sorry.
I can't believe I knew that.
Dr. Donald Pleasance, yes.
But Jonathan Bailey works at this museum that's being forced to be shut down because now that no one cares about dinosaurs, like no one's visiting. But Rupert Friend tells Jonathan Bailey, I need you to accompany Scarlett Johansson to extract the DNA.
Because only you can identify the animals.
And that's when we learn that the extractions have to occur while the animal is living, which to me is like, I don't know, it feels like such a silly plot point when this entire franchise started from a mosquito in a fossilized mosquito in some amber.
Well, especially that we have to get one from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, why does it matter?
Oh my gosh. And then, yes, we have to get it from a land creature, a water creature, and a creature that flies. And they have to be the biggest creatures because they have the biggest hearts.
Now, I want to see what those creatures, what their hearts do on poppers. But what? This is an island where there were hybrid experiments going on. So why does it matter?
It just feels so arbitrary. Like we needed a reason to do this thing.
Give me one reason to stay here.
So Scarlett assembles her team, which includes Mahershala Ali,
Duncan Kincaid,
and Ed Screen.
Yeah, Bobby.
So they all get on a boat, and first they're going to try to catch the largest sea dinosaur, and it has a tracker on it, so they very easily find it. And they're very close to getting it when all of a sudden a side story is that there's this family on a boat.
Yeah, led by a father named Ruben, played by Manuel Garcia Rolfo from Sweet Girl and Widows.
And he has his two daughters, a young girl and a teenage girl, and then the teenage girl has brought her raggedy-ass boyfriend with her.
Ugh.
So the four of them are on this boat, and they get capsized by this big-ass dinosaur at the same time that Scarlett and Rupert and all of them are trying to find it. So they hear on the radio an SOS Mayday call. And we need to get back to it, but these people decide to go rescue this family. Rupert Friend's the only one who's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Despite the fact they're on an illegal mission.
And I have to agree with the villain. It made no sense to pick these people up because, like you said, they're on an illegal mission, going to a private place. And what are they going to do with these people when they have to go extract all this? Rupert Friend keeps saying, if we heard them on the radio, the Coast Guard heard them. Let them float for another hour. Someone else will find them.
And maybe we should skedaddle because we need to get this mission done. I mean, is he a villain or a capitalist?
But Mahershala and Scarlett insist, so they rescue this family, and I just thought they were so annoying.
Yes.
They are able to extract the DNA from the big sea creature, but then the sea creature, along with some other sea creatures, are attacking the boat, so they end up having to run ashore on the island they were going to anyway. But that's when Scarlett's team and this family separate. So then for like the middle of the movie, we have to deal with this random family and what they're doing, separate from what Scarlett's doing. But of course, we go through them having to get a sample from the land creature, which is this big
Brontosaurus
looking thing
that has like some hybrid whiptail, and
we need to get to how these things look.
It's like a Valentine's Day card going on.
And then of
there.
course they get to the biggest flying creature by extracting from the creature's eggs. And then in between that, we see like this side family be confronted by like a T-Rex. And then of course at the very end, after they've extracted all their samples, they need to get off the island. But that's when we revisit, which is the opening of the film, 17 years prior. I don't think we even needed this scene. We get a scene of the hybrid research that's going on. And so we witness the, what's it called?
The D-Rex. What do you think the D stands for?
Dumb.
Or XXLD Rex.
This thing looks like if you mix a xenomorph with a T-Rex.
I thought it looked like the It's Alive baby mixed with the beluga.
Oh,
those
yes.
Big ass heads.
Actually. So, of course, at the very end, they can't just simply get off the island. They have to be confronted by D-Rex. And D-Rex looks so dumb to me, and it's very slow.
Yeah.
And who decides to sacrifice themselves? Mahershala Ali.
We need to talk about his character's backstory because it is so shitty and stupid.
We need to, yes. But he's able to distract the D-Rex so that everyone else, except Rupert Friend, because of course the villain gets killed, they're able to leave with the samples. And then, there are two little like side situations going on with the same two characters, Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey. First of all, these two characters have this flirtation that is so awkward. And not because Jonathan Bailey is gay, but because his character is childlike.
Yes.
His only characterization is like this wonder at being able to actually see dinosaurs up close, these things that he studied for his entire academic career.
Wide-eyed wonder, and that's where we get Alexander Desplat's take on the John Williams theme.
And Jonathan Bailey as this doctor is very cute, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, but he reads as asexual.
Yes.
And then you have Scarlett Johansson who's reading like, I mean, it seems like she wants to be like a Kathleen Turner in her prime, but I'm not.
Like Romancing the Stone?
Yes, but I don't care for this lady at all. And she's being very flirtatious with Jonathan Bailey in a way that felt uncomfortable to me. Like she's not aware that he's not feeling her.
I just want to tell her, girl, you're beautiful. You're trying too hard to get on that.
So they have that going on. And then at a point in the film, Jonathan Bailey goes, hey, how about we not give this to Rupert Friend and we open source our findings? That way everyone can sort of work to find a cure for heart disease so that it won't be expensive.
And instead of selling it to the Sattlers.
And Scarlett's like, I'll think about it.
Well, no, she goes, I never thought of that.
And then all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, she's like, so if we did do the open source thing, that means I don't get any money, right? And he's like, right. And she says, like, I don't love that.
She goes, I don't like that. Okay.
And then at the very end, when they've escaped not narrowly being killed, slowly being chased by D-Rex, and they're able to escape, then she goes, you know what? That open source idea, let's do it. And that's the end of the movie.
Yep, and they're sailing away into the sunset.
I have no notes because to me there was nothing to this story.
I don't understand. I mean, the last film, the 2022 one, Jurassic World Dominion, where we got the return of the legacy characters, and I do love to see Laura Dern. That film felt pointless, but at least we had, what's her name, Wanda DeWise?
She was fun.
She kind of like stole the show, like gave this film some energy. I don't think anybody, and I don't know that it's the fault of the actors per se, but no one is able to rise above in this. And also, Mr. Gareth Edwards, the opening scene of this feels exactly the same as the opening of 2014's Godzilla, where Juliette Binoche dies before the opening credits.
And then I hated that the reason that, because one of the scientists dies by the D-Rex because he gets stuck in the enclosure. And the reason that there's an incident is because he was eating a Snickers bar and the Snickers wrapper gets sucked up into the ventilation system.
Of the door that's supposed to close.
Of the door that's supposed to close, so it malfunctions. I don't know.
I don't know what it's saying about lazy, consumerist scientists, but it's saying something.
I don't know what would have made this movie better because, again, it does feel like we're on repeat. Like, we've already seen the dinosaurs. We've been to this island 7 times now, or an island 7 times now, doing the same thing. But if you're going to be funny, they either needed to go full tilt ridiculous or actually make it like a serious, like, what if National Geographic had the resources to, because they try to do their own like reenactments with their own version of digital, and it always looks not great. But what if they could do it with full budgets for full VFX, and it were more thrilling and exciting than trying to be like, I don't know, all the hokey dialogue between these characters.
It's just the whole impetus for the story seems like a missed opportunity. It's returning screenwriter David Koepp, who's a writer-director, who I think works very well with genre. He adapted Michael Crichton's both novels, because Crichton wrote The Lost World, of the first 2 that Spielberg directed. So it's his return to the fold, and the film very much feels like a mixture of elements of those first 2 films, such as the children being caught in an area, it's a derelict gas station in this, where they're eluding a winged creature trying to get them, which is like the cafeteria scene. And of course, going back to an island, like the 1997 film.
This movie is 135 minutes long. I think the only time it works is when there are like action scenes with the dinosaurs, which probably consist of like 45 minutes.
And those are entertaining enough. I think the best one would be the bird's nest scene.
Yeah.
Was most entertaining. I didn't mind how D-Rex looked. It's just that all of that felt very low tension, low stakes.
This movie definitely could have been shorter. I really just didn't understand why Scarlett's crew picked up this rogue family on because they don't even know how many people they're rescuing.
They don't, but so I think that's where Mahershala Ali's Kincaid's backstory comes in. Is he had lost a child, and of course the dissolution of his marriage followed, and so he has a soft spot for people, especially children in trouble.
Yeah, but they don't know what they're what they're getting into. Also, they're doing something illegal. So what if them rescuing these people will probably lead to them dealing with the Coast Guard?
Yes.
I just think that the combination of that plot point feeling so forced and unnecessary, combined with this stupid idea that they have to get 3 samples from the 3 largest creatures, land, water, and sea.
Both Ali and ScarJo are contradictory characters. These are out and out criminals. ScarJo, you might as well match the 2 Kim Novak characters together. She's a femme fatale. She's a criminal, but then always wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, her motivation for this extraction doesn't match her sort of altruistic
no
nature.
It's almost like, or another Hitchcock reference, it's almost like Marnie, where she's fallen in love with this handsome man that's going to derail her criminal career, but he doesn't seem to be responding to your advances in the way you'd want.
I think it's Rupert Friend or it's Jonathan Bailey. Someone explains the decline of the popularity of the dinosaurs as nobody cares about these animals anymore. That's what I felt about this movie.
There's I think a certain amount of irony there that maybe not on purpose.
Okay, then the side family. So it's the dad, the 2 daughters, and then the older daughter's boyfriend. I thought the younger daughter was annoying.
She was okay. Audrina, what's her name? Her last name is Miranda. I can't read my writing. Isabella.
Yes. And she finds this little It
looks like a baby triceratops. It looks like that character Sarah from The Land Before Time.
Yeah, so she's preoccupied with that thing and she's kind of always in the way. Then the older daughter has this boyfriend who's a total dad's nightmare.
He's supposed to be the broad comic relief and he drove me crazy.
Yeah.
David Iacano, who's in Fear Street Prom Queen this year as well. And then the Teresa, the other daughter, Luna Blaze, she's in Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe.
Oh. I do think that the scene with that family and the T-Rex and the raft...
It's okay.
It's okay. But then I also thought a lot of the green screen was not the best. Maybe this was a rushed...
I think I really noticed it with the appearance of the Brontosauruses. This doesn't look great. But the introduction of this family is so annoying because Reuben, the father, is going on this expedition across the Atlantic, which is crazy. One, who has access to the data that's tracking these beasts that are in the air and in the water?
We know there are dinosaurs, huge dinosaurs that are not they're not being controlled out in the water.
Yeah. So, and this illegal crew is able to go do this mission without really doing much to elude detection. In fact, it's courting attention. So no one's tracking these beasts that knock over this random family's boat in the ocean. But, oh God, the dad is asking to be relieved from manning the boat because the teenage boy, the boyfriend...
It's his turn.
And he's basically lazy and refuses to do it. It's he's so disrespectful. The daughter's don't say anything about him, Dad. It's I'd slap you both off of this boat. What are we doing?
My final note is the end when Mahershala sacrifices himself by drawing the D-Rex to him with a flare because apparently it's attracted to light. The entire time, the D-Rex is very slow. We never see it move quickly. It's very slowly approaching everything. Why didn't he just throw the flare?
I don't know. It's he wanted to die. He didn't have anything to live
And as
for.
the audience, we think he dies. And then as Scarlett Johansson's riding off in the boat, we see someone shoot off a flare. And so Mahershala was able to escape. So he's not dead. But I did laugh because he's jumping in and out of everything, and that beret he's wearing never moves.
There's no
way.
That beret's got some wig glue on. What's going on underneath that hat, sir? That it does not come off, not once. And it just seems... It feels like it was made in the 50s with kind of the moral punishment of the characters that are evil, because the only person... Well, no, several of her crew die, but they are so... There's they're so one-dimensional.
Well, Ed Skrein is like seen as like not the nicest guy, so of course he dies.
Oh, because he is trigger happy and he wants to kill dinosaurs, and Jonathan Bailey's like, it's a sin to kill a dinosaur. Well, not if it's going to eat you, sir. But yeah, Ed Skrein has a shockingly small role. But the only catharsis really is supposedly in the death of Rupert Friend's character, because he was giving me Paul Reiser in Aliens. Because there's a scene where Teresa's about to go overboard, basically into these dinosaur-infested waters, and he just lets her go.
Yeah, I mean, if this could be an okay airplane movie, if I put it on, I wouldn't stop it to get up to go to the bathroom. I would just let it play. Like,
yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just, there's no sense of wonder anymore, and it just feels like everybody is just there to collect a check. And I know that it must be an in-joke now that ScarJo has to utter dialogue where she's basically dropping geolocations, because her backstory is that she's in mourning because a friend/partner died on their last mission in Yemen, and all of that dialogue felt like her Black Widow character's Budapest bullshit.
what would you give Jurassic World Rebirth?
2.
I didn't care for this. I would give it 2 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.